Okay, a little bit more work with rational expressions and simplifying things that can help us if we were going to be graphing more complicated items. So this is just a skill piece from previous courses. So if I'm going to add two fractions, I need to have a common denominator. And in this case, my common denominator would be x plus 1 times x minus 1. Note we're going to leave our simplified answer in factored form if possible. No need to expand things for our purposes right now. So here on this side, this piece to have the common denominator would mean to be multiplied by x minus 1 and x minus 1, which is effectively multiplying by 1. On this side, we multiply by x plus 1 and x plus 1, so that's my common denominator. So I'm going to have 5 times x minus 1 plus x times x plus 1. Okay, and so the denominator I'm not going to multiply out, but the numerator I will. And I need to make sure that I'm careful in distributing if I have any negatives or any of that sort of thing. So that gives me 5x minus 5 plus x squared plus x all over x plus 1 times x minus 1. And so that's going to give me an x squared plus 6x and a minus 5 in the numerator all over an x plus 1 times x minus 1 in the denominator. And so there is my response. All right, we'll look to the next one. So common denominator would be x minus 1, x plus 6. So I'm just going to do the work in a slightly different way on assuming we understand what we did for the previous example. So x plus 6 needed to be multiplied by the x plus 2, and then I have a subtraction sign, and the 2 needed to be multiplied by the x minus 1 so that I would have both terms being multiplied by my common denominator. So this is what I'm going to have. Distribution, need to be able to distribute correctly, right? And remember that I have a negative for the distribution for the next one. So I have x squared plus 2x plus 6x plus 12 minus 2x plus 2. Be careful with your multiplication. So that'll be plus 2. Back of the race. All right, and denominator, we don't need to expand. We want to keep it in a factored form just in case things might simplify. So numerator, I have an x squared plus 2x minus 2x plus 6x. That's going to be plus 6x. And then plus 12, is that it? Plus 12 plus 2, so that's going to be plus 14. All right, and all over x minus 1 times x plus 6. And I check the numerator and see, hey, do I have two factors of 14 that will add up to be 6? And there are not two factors of 14 that will add up to be 6, so I'm not going to have a nice factorization for that numerator, and it's not going to involve rational numbers, so don't need to worry about that. Okay. Slightly more difficult ones on adding and subtracting. We'll look through these. So we need to find our common denominator, but in order to find the common denominator, it's going to be very helpful to go ahead and factor things to see what we have. So here's an x minus 6 and an x plus 5 for this one. This one over here is going to have an x minus 5 and an x minus 1. Over here, this is going to be an x plus 2 and an x minus 2. Here we'll have an x minus 3 or x plus 3 and an x minus 3. Here we'll have an x and an x minus 3. So it's going to be very, very helpful to go ahead and factor your denominators before you do any work. Because if we say x minus 6 times x plus 5, right, well here I already have an x minus 6, so the only thing that this side is going to need is times an x plus 5, but if I do it to the denominator, I need to do it to the numerator. And I don't need to multiply this side by anything because it already has an x minus 6 and an x plus 5. So that means that for A, I'm going to have 3x squared minus 3x plus 5 times x plus 5. And then the denominator is going to be x minus 6 times x plus 5. Right, and I'll be able to multiply the numerator out, and so that's going to be give me 3x squared, and it's going to be minus, so 3x times x, 3x squared, 3x times 5, 15x, 5x, right, plus 25 all over the denominator. Alright, oops, I don't know what happened there, but let's go ahead and just rewrite this so that we can make the work be a little bit better. Alright, so the distribution was 3x squared, 15x, plus a 5x, and plus a 25, so this was just scratch work. So that means I have 3x squared minus 3x squared, so I'm going to have negative 15x minus 5x, so that's actually negative 20x. So let's rewrite that. All right, and it's going to be negative 20x, and I'm going to have 25, so I'm actually going to be able to factor out a negative 5, and I'm going to have a 4x plus 5, and that's the numerator, and the denominator will be x minus 6 times x plus 5. So there is my factored form. All right. For this one, we have x minus 5, x minus 1. This one already has an x minus 5, so it needs an x minus 1. So I'm just going to rewrite 3x plus 2, right? All of that plus 2x needs to be multiplied by x minus 1. And the denominator is x minus 5 times x minus 1. All right. And now multiply, right? So I'll go ahead, I have 3x plus 2. Right, just doing scratch work, 2x squared minus 2x. And so that's going to be a 2x squared, and 3x and minus 2x plus x plus 2 all over x minus 5, x minus 1. Nothing factors from the numerator. All right, if I do 2x, if I do 2 times 2, that's 4. Nothing adds up to be 4 with, or no factors of 4 add up to be 1. So we're cool. All right, continuing our work here for this one. This first one is missing an x term, while this one, the second, is missing an x plus 3. So we're going to have x times x plus 3 times x plus 3, x minus 3, which I'm just going to call that x squared minus 9. But no, it just needs to be multiplied by x plus 3 because I already have an x minus 3. So that's the numerator. Denominator is going to be x times x plus 3 times x minus 3. That's the common denominator. So go ahead, multiply through. That gives me an x squared plus a 3x plus a 9, all divided by x times x plus 3 times x minus 3. And lastly, we have our setup here. So that means I'm going to have missing from x squared is an x from the denominator. So I'm going to have x squared times x. Minus 1 missing on this side is both of these terms. So I will just call that x squared minus 4 to make my life easier. And the denominator is going to be x. And I'll just call it x squared minus 4 because it looks nicer to me. All right, so the numerator is going to be x cubed minus x squared plus 4, all divided by x times x squared minus 4. And there is my work. So, bit of algebra, difficult at times. Make sure you can do it correctly. Be careful with your work. Ask questions for clarification as needed. Right, use different resources, Wolfram Alpha, Perplexity.ai to help you get additional practice problems as needed. Thank you for your time.